If you're new to working out with a Cobra bag, here are 10 tips to help get you started. Now, the Keyless Cobra bag is actually quite fast, or can be quite fast, and can be challenging to get used to that movement if you're just starting off. So my first tip is to extend the top section and make it as long as possible, and that will slow it down as much as possible so you can get used to that movement. And my second tip is to set the right height by adjusting the length at the bottom. And you want the height to be roughly at chin level when you're standing up straight. And that is because when you get into your fighter stance, you're going to be coming down low, your knees are bent, feet wide apart, hands up, and you want to be punching straight rather than up. My third tip is to ensure that if you're using the air-based balls, that it's well inflated. Just check it, make sure it's not too soft, and I think this one probably could do with a bit of a top up. A well inflated ball is going to perform so much better in terms of movement. It's going to rebound a lot better, and it's also going to protect the top part of the adapter from caving in. And if you ordered yourself one of these air-free balls as an add-on, which doesn't require any pumping up, then I recommend that you start with that. It's slightly heavier than most of the other balls, and it's going to be a little bit slower for that reason, and you won't need to worry about pumping it up constantly. My fourth tip is that you wear boxing gloves whenever you're training with the Cobra bag. Three main reasons for that. Number one, it will protect your hands in case you hit the bottom or you hit something and it's going to hurt your knuckles, or it might actually break the adapter. Number two is that you're going to get a lot better bounce from the ball. So the gloves themselves have a little bit of bounce in them, plus the ball, so you get a better rebound when you're using boxing gloves. And number three, by having boxing gloves on, you're actually going to be working your arms a lot more because you've got some weight at the end of your arms. So whenever you're punching, you're actually working your arms more with boxing gloves. Tip number 5 is your fighter stance. So you want your feet apart, knees bent, and one leg facing close to the Cobra bag, arms up, elbows tucked in, and you've got your leading hand just slightly in front, and that's going to be your jabbing hand. That's where you want to do your jabs with, and that's where you're going to start. And try to stay really light on your toes. The whole idea is to be able to move around and also come in and out from your target. Tip number 6 is when you're starting off, just do very gentle taps with your leading glove. So just tap it, don't hit it hard, just give it a tap and bring your hand back. You don't have to go too close or too far. Find a distance where you're comfortable and just put your jab out and tap it. And what you're going to be doing is just getting used to that movement. Tip number 7 is to try and develop a rhythm with the motion of the ball or with your tapping. So your leading jab, just work on it by hitting the ball every second time it comes around. Not every time, not like that, but every second time. It gives you a chance to realign the ball, make sure it's going straight back and forth, and you just bob around. Feel that rhythm. If it helps you to move back and forth, that's the rhythm you want to establish. And just keep working on that. Once you develop that rhythm, you're starting to get a feel for how the ball moves. And then you can begin increasing the pace, increasing the power in your jabs, increasing the speed. And I also highly recommend that you switch sides. So go the other side and try doing it the other way as well. And just move on your toes, nice and light, in and out, and just work the rhythm. Feel the rhythm. After a few days, you should start getting a feel for the cadence of the ball, and you should start being able to continue that movement, continue those punches on a continuous sort of basis. Now, persevere with it if you're having trouble. Just keep at it because it will come to you. And this is my 8th tip, and that is to get a timer and start timing your sessions. Once you get to that point where you're comfortable just doing those jabs, even light taps, get a timer, set up a timer on your phone, and start doing rounds and resting periods in between. So this is a way to sort of formalize your sessions. And you want to do, say, 3 or 4 rounds, each round of 2 minutes, and then have a resting period of about 30 seconds. If your cardio is better than that, go for 4, 5 rounds, 6 rounds if you can, and possibly increase the round to, say, 3, 4, or even 5-minute rounds. It's entirely up to you and what you're able to take with your cardio. Tip 9 is to focus on your technique for the first few weeks. You want to get the technique right before you go smashing it. So with your technique, just make sure you keep your hands, both hands up, and when you're putting out the jab, you put it out straight, turn your glove like this, and then bring it straight back. Don't put it out and then drop it and then bring it back. So keep an eye on that. Even I make that mistake all the time. Once you get in the bad habit of doing that, it's hard to get out of it. So focus on your techniques for the first few weeks. Just focus on doing that, right? And swap, do the same thing with the other side. Just get used to doing that. The other thing is, when you're punching, just breathe out. Stay low, feet apart, just what you're comfortable with. And then once you start getting that right, you can begin with combos. And that's a whole other world, but I'll do a video on that as well. And my last tip for working with a Cobra bag is to move around. Keep your legs wide apart and move in and out, move around the Cobra bag as you're doing your jabs. Try and keep your legs always apart, and you can move in and out. Maintain the technique and move around the bag. Just move in and out so that you're out of range and then you come into range. Stay light on your toes and do both sides. And once you start getting better, just increase the speed by reducing the length of the top section and then raise the bottom to match where you need it to be. Well, hopefully that'll get you started in the right way. It's a great bit of kit. I love training with it, and so will you. Finally, let me know how you go, how you progress with your training. I'm keen to know. Put it in the comments below. And if you've got any questions, put those in the comments below and I'll reply as soon as I can.